space, how do you save space in chaos?
How I save space in chaos is pausing, right? And so knowing, although it might be chaotic, is it my responsibility to care about? And then if it is my responsibility to care about, then I find where my power lies within that to be able to control situations that I can control. And so within saving space, the asana aspect of it, the meditation educational program, or even the sustainability aspect of it, in all of those realms, it's giving people, myself, the tools that we need to create, right? I imagine that like everything is flooding in, right? That it's, whether it's a news feed, right? Whether it's calls, whether it's your thoughts, right? Taking a moment to save space. And I personally do that with my breath. That like, when I practice my meditation, you know, sometimes you can do guided meditations where you hear people, you know, help you navigate through that. But for me, I like to sit in silence. And because what happens is that as I'm sitting in silence, I'm anchored in my breath, right? I notice my breath, whether it's extending it, right, for a certain period of time, or as my thoughts are happening. I love to use the visualization of staring at the sky, right? As you are sitting there, right? Everyone's always like, oh, I'm gonna be bad at meditating. I'm the worst at it. And it's like, no, dude, you just show up. You show up as you are, you pause, and you get anchored into your breath. And as you are looking up to that sky, right, what go by? Clouds, right? And as you're sitting there meditating, thoughts are gonna go by, right? Whether you're doing this right, or did you leave your curling iron on, or did I ever respond back to that text message, or oh my God, are they ghosting me? Like all of those odd thoughts that come to your mind when you stop, right? The beautiful thing about saving space is becoming a witness to that, right? And not being controlled, but allowing those thoughts and those clouds to go by and not like follow them down into a deep hole where you start to spiral out and, you know, create realities that don't exist.
So you have an extensive background of traveling. And
I be, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
I go a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
you know,
whatever.
here and there.
Yeah, I mean,
I see you. I see you. You was
I'm
outside.
good on every Martin Luther King Boulevard, okay? I'm good on every MLK Boulevard. You know that.
So, in your travels, have you seen different forms of saving space, or have you thought, if only they were able to save space here?
Absolutely. So, I'll say this, in Belize, they do such a beautiful, it's a beautiful practice how they save space for our animals in this world. You know, I don't believe that there's any beauty in captivity. And so, like, you know, in the States, we have all these zoos that are, you know, people sometimes pay to go to and, you know, want to stare at animals in their non-natural habitat, right? And so Belize specifically has a rehabilitation where they have these facilities for animals that have been, you know, harmed or, you know, are trying to repopulate. And so I think Belize does a beautiful job of that, and it's like should be a staple that we all, how we care for animals and how we have our interaction with the world. Hong Kong in general, how they save space for their elderly is always really beautiful to me. I think what they do and how they care for their elderly is something that we should honor, you know, in the States as well, and not necessarily, you know, we have this very odd relationship with growing old. And so because we have this odd relationship, or not being able to deal with the reality that, you know, at some point we will no longer, you know, cease to exist, right? And to sit with the idea that the people that you love at some point will leave you, it pushes our elderly, right? In even the way that we treat our elderly and the way that we learn about what it means to be geriatric, right? We push that away. And so I wish that that was something that we save space for. And then in Japan, man, they save space for expression, right? I love the way that fashion, in my mind, starts in Japan. Like, trends, like, it starts everywhere, but like the way that they market it and the way that they push it in Japan is on a whole other level. And so the way that they save space for people to show up as they are is so mind-blowing, because what I see, even sometimes in my city and in my communities locally and abroad, is that we put people in such a box, and anybody who finds themselves outside that box, we kind of ostracize them and cast them away, versus being able to say, like, dude, that's you, and I might not do that, but like, I love that on you. And to be able to realize that, like, the way someone expresses themselves has absolutely nothing to do with you, is another thing, another way that or another lesson, more specifically, that I've learned throughout my yoga practice.
When you look to building on your practice, what resources do you tap into?
Oof. Life. Really, I tap into that. I tap into teachers and people that I admire. I tap into books that I've read. I'm an avid reader, and constantly, finding new information that I can trust and then I verify, and also the science behind it. I think that, in general, there's not a lot of research on our brain, and our brain is our brain is who we are, if we can understand that, like, we are a physical being having a spiritual, you're gonna have to edit this out because I said it the wrong way, but whatever. We are a spiritual being having a physical experience, right? And our brain is the organ that, like, holds all of that. And it holds our memories, it holds our favorite food or our skills that we identify with, all of those things. And there's, like, so much information that we have on our brain, and so even that is super exciting to me.
How have you grown in reflection?
Oh. How have I grown in reflection? I think the relationship that I have with anybody that I come across, because I've been able to sit with some of the pain that I've experienced in my life and find peace with it, I'm able to see the pain on others a little bit more easier, and be able to be mature about certain things, and not take everything personal. I think that I've experienced loss and death a lot within my walk of life, and I think that one thing that I've grown because of that is when I am around somebody or spending time with someone that I love or enjoying something, I'm that much more, in that moment, and I savor it. I live a little bit more, present. It's a funny word to keep using, but it's like, I'm here. I try to just be in this moment and not to think about it so much, to be stressed about things that have happened, things that should have happened or didn't happen, or or things that are going to happen, because the only reality that we truly have is this moment. Everything else it doesn't exist, And I was reading even this idea of our future self, right? The things that we're doing now to come back to even self-love and discipline, right? Your future self, right, is looking back at our present moment through our memories, And so what can I do now in my present self, right? How can I honor myself in this moment in the best way possible so that I can be my absolute best future self?
Okay.
That was real trippy.
No, I don't think that was trippy at all.
Okay, cool.
That right
Thank you.
off the bat.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Where can they find you?
y'all can find me at. No, I'm joking. No, I don't know. Everyone throws it up too, and I never know. But anywho, you can you can find me on social media for sure. Okay, I am a part of the 21st century. Swami Jazz is my specific wellness brand that's about me. Saving Space for You is Save Space Instagram. These are all of our handles, and you'll be able to have a little bit more information, resources that will be provided if, let's say, for example, you would like to join one of my classes, specifically the Get Home Safe audience. I will add a code in as Get Home Safe so that you can receive $10 off any of my classes. So you can join, you know what I'm saying? You got it. That's the family love. That's the family discount. You feel me? So look, y'all, you know, it's powerful to be connected to Get Home Safe, and it's such an honor, right? And so you can find all of my services in there. I have everything lined out, and you can also go to savingspace.org for more information.
Okay. So to wrap this up, now that you've let everybody know where they can find you, tell me about your spiritual journey when it comes to yoga.
My spiritual journey.
Was there a spiritual journey?
It is a spiritual journey, you know, because the more information that I get, I above everything else, I have two really major, you know, things that I strive for. The first one is to always be in tune with the infinite. And so to do that, I have to, you know, die. My flesh has to die. And so what that means is that, like, the things in me that might not be the absolute best have to decrease for me to be used as a vessel. And that, like, as a vessel, right, that I have to also, the way that I move and navigate through life, right, like, there is no, you know, taking off my tie, taking off my dress, right, like, I'm always a yoga instructor. I'm always a, you know, a guide for meditation, and I'm always a wellness health advocate, you know, and so that's just who I show up. And so my spirituality is connected and rooted in that, because we're all spiritual beings. And so, like, you'll see me doing you know, my rituals. You know, I pray every morning. I pray in the Holy Spirit every morning. I do rituals with my tea, right? I love my herbs and being connected with my ancestors. I'm constantly calling on them. At times I use crystals when I feel like it's necessary. But, you know, spirituality is just the way that our spirit, right, is navigating. So at times I just, like I said, I'm in tune with the infinite, and then I allow my spirit to kind of run free, like, lead me, you know? So, yeah.
That was beautiful. I love how, like, right when you said ancestors, the bird went off, and I was like, oh, word?
Yeah, when I tell you, especially in this specific time, man, that's why I was so excited to sit down with Get Home Safe and Dwight, you know, because I feel so in tune, you know, with people, with organisms, you know. I was telling my friend that, like, I felt like I could put my hand out and a bird would land on it, you know, like, that's how in tune I felt. I know that sounds, you know, whatever it sounds like.
You've made space for the bird.
Yeah, I've made space for the birds.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be walking or laying down in grass and bees are around me, you know, like, it's a funny thing, and even, you know, it's also a gift. This is a random thought. I'm random at times too, dear friends, and I'll share that with you a little bit more if you know, join me on this journey. But my mom told me at one point, she was like, Jasmine, that's my name that was given to me, right? She's like, I would have never known that if I would have named you after a flower, how much you would have been such a flower child, you know, turned out to be. And I was like, you knew what you knew in your heart what you were putting on me, you know, to be connected. So yeah, shout out to Trina and Dawn, you know, my creators on this world.
All right, if there's one thing that you would want people to take away from this interview when it comes to saving space, what would that be?
That you are powerful beyond measure, that it's your breath that'll keep you rooted, and that saving space is a place for you when you feel like there aren't any.
That's beautiful.
I just came up with that.
Here for that.
This is
That's
me
great.
being a vessel. This is me being a vessel, you know?
All right, well, thank you for coming. I appreciate your time, and thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Dwight. I love you. Get home safe. I'm so thankful to have such a beautiful organization within our community because there's such a need for it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. You know, if you build it,
they will come.
y'all better come. Y'all better come.
All right, see you guys later.